and welcome back to the Tea and Soju podcast, Drama Trio Edition, where three friends chat Asian dramas and let you into that chatter. I'm your host, Liliana.
I'm Jess.
And I'm Caitlin.
And in today's episode, we are reviewing not a Chinese drama, but a Korean drama instead. And that is the Korean drama A Killer's Paradox. So, just some housekeeping before we get into the podcast. If you like the podcast, please like, share, and subscribe on the platform you listen to. That really helps the podcast reach other listeners. For more content, check out Patreon, where you can find behind the scenes first impressions and movie reviews. Finally, if you would like to chat to me or find a community, check out Discord, Instagram, and other socials. The link for my socials, as well as Jess's and Caitlin's, will be in the description box below. So, this is exciting because we're doing a Korean drama, not a Chinese drama, which
We
is
are.
is it the first time the three of us are doing a Korean drama, or have we done one together? I think it is. I think it might be the first time. Is it?
I
I
feel
don't
like we
want to
did
be.
another one, but I could be wrong.
It, I
We
can't
might have done
remember
another one,
actually.
but it wasn't like a drama. It was like might have been before we became the drama trio.
Possibly.
Hmm,
Possibly.
maybe.
I don't remember.
I don't remember. Clearly, I mean, we've done a fair few episodes together at this point. So, but should we just jump straight into the MDL description for this?
Let's just do it. Yeah. Let's
Yeah.
just do it.
So MDL synopsis reads: the story follows Yi Tang, an ordinary college student who gets into an argument with a customer during a part-time job at a convenience store at night, unconsciously swings a hammer and kills him. Suffering from guilt and fear of murder, Yi Tang learns one day the person he killed was a serial killer and slowly realizes that he has a supernatural ability to identify bad seeds. He soon becomes a dark hero who punishes people who committed unethical evils in the past. A cold blooded, charismatic, and persistent detective starts to chase Yi Tang. So that's the setup. I think that's actually pretty good of a description from MDL. It does kind of describe what the plot is. Now, for cast, which I think is why a lot of people wanted to check this drama out, was mainly for the cast. And we have Choi Woo Shik as Yi Tang, and we have Son Suk Woo playing Jang Nan Gam. We also have Lee Hee Jun playing Song Chun. So that's like the three main, at least MDL classes, the three of them as the three main characters. So for director, this was directed by Yi Chang Hee, and he's done Strangers from Hell and The Vanished. Screenwriter was Kim Da Min. It was released on February 9th, 2024. It is 8 episodes of 54 minutes, and it is a Netflix production. Right. I'm glad I got through that. Guys, just before we started recording, I was going off the rails and had to re-record the intro because clearly my brain is taking a vacation right now. So that's like all the info on this drama. Should we go straight into like our non-spoiler thoughts? And this being a crime drama, we thought it would be adept to have Caitlin go first. Because,
Absolutely.
So Caitlin, what are your non-spoiler thoughts on A Killer's Paradox?
I can't wait for this. I cannot wait for this.
I can't wait for this.
Just so you guys know, we don't know what each of us thought about this. We're coming completely blind. We haven't been talking about this offline or nothing. We just like showed up this morning like for this recording. Yeah. All right. Caitlin.
Because usually, I was just gonna say, usually whenever we record together about a specific drama, we've been talking about the drama in like our Instagram chat, or at least like we have a vague idea of
There's
what
some
each of us
inkling.
thinks.
Yeah.
Yeah. None of that. Absolutely none of that. So
Been radio
this is gonna
silence
be
about this drama.
Yeah. So but does that say something about, what we think?
Yeah.
So I've always heard silence speaks volumes. So we shall see. Caitlin.
Take it away.
I do not recommend this drama. Sorry, Liliana. I should have waited until you were not drinking water.
Okay.
The first half of it was fantastic. I loved the first 4 episodes. The second 4 were not it. Like that was like, I just felt it was a completely different story. Like they could have split it off into 2 different dramas and could have been its own thing. And like it like the first 4 were like season 1 and second 4 were season 2. Like in my mind, like it should have been that. I had so many problems with second half of this drama. The first half was great and the acting is fantastic. Like if you want good acting, you should go and watch this drama. But that's pretty much the only reason why you should watch this drama. Like I didn't like it. I didn't like it.
What about you, Jess?
Do you need do you need me to come in and say anything at all? This drama. So I was excited. Okay, I was really excited to watch this drama because I'm a fan of Choi Woo-sik. I'm a fan of Song Soo-koo. I think they're really good actors, and I'm in Choi Woo-sik's corner because he doesn't do that many K-dramas, right? Like when he does one, you're kind of like, oh my God, he's in a K-drama. He's more low-key, kind of more known for Parasite, more known for some movies.
Okay, really, really quick, because I just remembered something.
Oh, absolutely.
Did you know that the original people who like were casting the movie Past Lives wanted Choi Woo-sik to be Taeyo's character?
Oh,
like
really?
Yeah, that's what I read.
That would have
they
been...
originally wanted him, and then I guess like Taeyo just like the main guy who's now actually in it,
Taeyo.
Yeah, Taeyo. Got the role, but like apparently they first wanted him to be that guy.
Well, let's just. It was first of all have crazy eyes right now.
Yeah, Jess has crazy eyes right now. She does.
That is what a hell of a casting. What if you just threw at me?
Right. And I don't know if they like already had the female lead in mind. Like I don't know about the female lead. I don't know if they like
you don't know if Celine Song was already cast.
I don't know if that was the case or not. I don't even know.
I'm sorry, not Celine Song, Greta Lee.
Yeah, Greta Lee. I don't know if she was already cast or they had her in mind to pair with Choi Woo-sik.
Oh my God.
Yeah, that's apparently what went down. I'm not really
my
sure
heart beat more for that casting what if than it did in the entirety of this show. Okay.
I can't.
Not it. This show is just not it. I was very excited. I think that the casting is probably the best part of the show.
And I mean, that might have been my thing. I might have gone into it thinking like having too high expectations. And then it didn't meet those expectations.
I agree.
Which caused it to go down even more, in my opinion. Like, which is I try to enter dramas not having expectations. But like you can't enter this drama with this casting and this much talent.
And not feel some sort of like
not
buzz.
Have expectations, Yeah.
The first half, I don't want to say is even excellent. I just thought it was strange, but at least cohesive.
Right.
The second half,
I don't even know. I don't even know.
I don't know what happened. If they just lost the plot.
Yeah.
They literally lost
Yeah.
the plot.
Yeah.
So
They couldn't figure out who was the main character, who they wanted to focus on. And I don't know. Without going into spoilers, I don't know how to describe the second half.
yeah.
Right.
So
Mm,
for me,
a lot of
don't
choices. It's very dark, but I don't mind dark.
yeah, I don't mind dark either, but it has to be
But
well
yeah.
done.
I mean,
Yeah.
we all
So
know I don't mind dark, so
Yeah.
yeah. So
All right, Liliana.
I went in thinking I was really excited about this, and I actually, to show just how excited I was, I think I reached out to both of you even before this aired and was
Yeah.
like, look, guys, we should put a date down to review A Killer's Paradox.
That's what
And
happened.
maybe I should have waited for the drama to finish. Just saying, but you know, I was really really excited because I really like Choi Woo-shik, and I think his drama choices tend to be. And it's not that he can't do dark, because we've seen him in, like, what's the movie? A
The
Witches?
Witch,
Is
the
it Witches?
Subversion, Part 1.
Yeah, yeah. So like the man is talented. Like the
Why are you
amount of
laughing?
talent.
you were just like, you were like, I know this title. I'm gonna say the entire thing.
I mean, movies are Jess's thing. So
True.
Very true.
Um, but so I was really excited because I was like, oh, it's True Chic. He's going to be doing, a dark drama again. And I'm not going to lie, I think the plot of this sounds interesting. I mean, it's a not fun. I don't want to say fun because that sounds like the wrong word, but it's an interesting plot. Like a killer who only goes after other killers. I mean, it's
Mhm.
an anti-hero, dark hero
It's very
kind
Dexter.
of setup. Exactly, exactly. And I was like, I think, I was really excited going in. Now, the first 4 episodes, I was like, they're doing setup, the story is moving along, and I was enjoying the first 4 episodes. And then you start going into the second half, and I'm like, guys, are we still writing the same show that we were
Exactly.
an episode ago? Like, why are we going in 3,000 directions, jumping all over the place? Was this the case of, did you think you had 16 episodes and you didn't? So you squished everything into 4 episodes and, like, jumped all over the place? So I don't know. I wish this could have been written better, because for people of this caliber in terms of acting, it's such a shame that it's kind of like wasted almost. So that's my thoughts. I, you know, I thought the plot sounded interesting in theory, and then they kind of ruined it in the second half. So, that's my 2 cents without giving any spoilers. But should we go into ratings? I think I would probably rate it like a 2.5 teacups. And most of that is coming because I like the acting, and the acting I think is really good in this. So I think I would rate it at 2.5 teacups. What about you, Caitlin?
Oh no.
Caitlin's making a face. I was going to say she's making a
So,
face.
with the MDL, I gave it, so with like 1 through 10, I gave this a 7.5, and that's low for me. But I don't agree with like how you describe the teacup descriptions. I don't agree
Yeah.
with the 3 teacup description.
Just give it a 1 teacup.
That's what I'm like. I'm debating between 1 or 2 because, like, on
Just
one
give it the
hand,
1.
it was okay, but like I really did not enjoy that second half. Yeah, I'm gonna have to give it a 1. I'm
Okay.
gonna have to give it a 1. I can't do. Yeah, I'm gonna have to give it a 1. I can't recommend it. Like
no.
I literally said in my review on both my podcast episode of like and like my review of like, I cannot recommend this drama to people. I can't, especially
All right.
crime drama people.
Oh, this is brutal today.
I I'm coming in hot with
Jess?
2, right in the middle. I'll give
Yeah.
it 2 teacups, which falls into your description is it was okay, not really the best, but it was an okay pastime.
Okay, pastime. Yeah.
Because as soon as it was over, I was like, okay, thank God I can mark that as complete on MDL and like get past that.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
that's how I feel 2 teacups is.
Yeah, that is the description. Yeah, I think it is. I can already feel, guys. I can already feel because like tea and soju, it's a C drama podcast. I can already feel people coming in and being like, "Well, look at the C drama people reviewing a K drama and being all harsh on but I don't know, because I haven't really seen much chatter about this one, so I don't know like how
Because
people
I don't think
everybody
people
has-
watched it.
Everybody has the same review we're gonna have with this. Everybody I've seen who've watched this said the same exact thing we all have said. Like the first half was great, second half fell apart. And so I don't think people will
annoying.
disagree with what we're saying.
Yeah.
I might be
mean, if
very
they
harsh
do,
with what I say, but
if they do disagree, everybody's entitled to their opinion.
Yeah.
It is what it is.
it's just the fact that like you have these actors and then you give him this story to work with. Like that's
I'll tell you
what's
something else. I
aggravating
know it's
about it.
based on a webtoon. I don't know how closely it cleaved to the webtoon material, but I was expecting some level of Chris Nolan because they were telling me it's a killer paradox. So I was like, where's the tenet? Where's the like brain breaking aspect?
Where's the paradox?
Where's the paradox?
No paradox.
So we'll talk about that, I guess, in spoilers. The paradox, and I put that in air quotes.
Yeah.
That's what I was expecting is some
Right.
sort of like twist in the story that was going to be a paradox or some sort of thing that was going to like surprise you. And that never happened.
Yeah. With that said, should we just move into spoilers?
Wait, did you say
Guys.
your teacup, Liliana?
Oh yeah, she did.
I gave
2.5.
I gave it a 2.5. God, I cannot speak
okay.
today. Shit.
I guess I missed that. Okay.
Yeah, she went first and gave it 2.5.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, I gave it. I'm gonna stick like with the 2.5, and like I said, that is mainly for the acting aspect of it, and I binged most of this actually. I think I finished watching it about 2 hours before we started. We sat down to record.
I finished this like 3 weeks ago.
3 weeks ago. Oh my god. Okay. I finished this last night and it's too bad this isn't a video podcast. I'll tell you, this was my face when I finished it. So the thing ends and I'm like,
that sounds about right. That looks
immediately
about right.
Go to remove it from my Netflix list and remove it from my continue watching and like immediately put on something else. Cause I was like, we are not lingering here.
No.
Right.
I don't know what's happening there. I don't know, but should we move on into spoilers, guys? So this
8
is your
episodes
warning.
felt so long.
It felt so long.
So long. Why?
So
all right.
long.
All right. Spoiler warning.
Yeah, this is your spoiler warning. So if you've watched the drama, then listen ahead. If you don't want to watch the drama but still want to hear the chatter, listen ahead. We'll be talking spoilers from now on. So, guys, where do you even want to start on the spoiler section?
Jump scare. The jump scare, and I think episode 1 of Chaewoo-shik jacking off. But what they showed was this woman straddling him butt naked.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
And I was like, what is going on? I was like, there's this lady having sex with Chaewoo-shik, and I was like, this is Netflix.
Yeah.
But then what interrupts this is another hallucination from him.
Right. Yeah.
That starts talking like, oh, of course you're jacking off in this moment. And it was like somebody that he had killed.
Yeah.
Interrupting his masturbation fantasy.
Mm-hmm.
I was like, where are we? What is this?
they just drop you right into like
They
the
do.
weirdness of
I
the
was like, the
story.
fuck is this? And the editing was so confusing.
It's so choppy to
Mm.
me. It feels
Mhm.
like a bad case of copy and paste and fix and like put bits here and there. And I was like, I feel like there's no what's the word I'm looking for? No cohesiveness. There's like no, you don't have to. You can drop a viewer in the middle of the story and kind of like tell it from there and like go back and show different things. But
Uh-huh.
you have to make it make sense. Like you can't just yeah.
Right. What they
I
would do
I
is like insert them in the same scene as if it was like as if this is what actually happened, but that's not what was
mm,
happening. They were just
yeah,
envisioning this scenario happening,
yeah, yeah.
if that makes any sense.
So for me, I was gonna say one of the biggest gripes that I had with this was that like to me I found the when it's described as he can sense that somebody's a killer, right?
Oh, the
Right.
Spidey sense. You want to talk about the Spidey
Yes,
sense?
Spidey
Okay.
sense.
Yeah.
Let's go.
Let's talk about the Spidey sense. Because to me, I was thinking this is going to be like something really cool where if he brushes up against somebody or something, he sees them actually doing. No, all he gets is some damn chills on the back of his
No,
neck.
no, no.
Or
He gets the bad
something.
vibes.
So do
Like,
you think he actually had a power though? That was my thing. Is like,
no,
do you
no.
really think he actually had a power, or do you think he thought he did?
I think he thought he did
I
because,
that's
like,
what I was thinking.
I don't think he had a power because, like, to me, he just sees like you can tell unless you know a killer is somebody that's really charming and whatnot. You can get as like he almost just seems like he's getting a bad vibe of somebody, and he like that first kill that he does. That is not because he has like a spidey sense. It just turns
Right.
out that he kills a killer, right? And then
I
the
actually thought he
second
was gonna
time,
kill the other dude.
Oh yeah, that was a
oh
whole
I
like
did not.
bait
I
and
did
switch.
not think. I did not think he was gonna kill the dude he did kill.
The
Which
bait and
was
switch on that first one
surprising.
was
Yeah.
good.
Which what it was good. That was good.
then the second
Yeah.
time he kills isn't because he has a bad vibe or his spidey sense is working. It's because he's trying to protect his ass about killing the first dude.
Right.
And I'm like, what? But that wasn't the purpose of the drop. Like I'm not. So yeah.
He didn't. So the first few kills, he didn't have the Spidey sense.
No.
Or he didn't realize that he was getting it. Like he
Right.
did.
Yeah.
We're developing
Yeah.
it. Yeah.
Yeah.
Developing it, yeah. But I wish they would have used like that spidey sense or whatever you want to call it more.
It's a Spidey
Uh,
sense.
Yes.
if he did have one, like I wish they would have made it clearer as almost like if he brushes by somebody, like I was saying, or he can see them doing something evil. But it's like I don't know at that point because by the end of this midway to like the last episodes, he's just gone wackadoodle. Like this man has gone off the rails. But was he even stable to start with? I would argue that he wasn't. So I don't know. What do you guys wanna?
Them trying to make Etang, which is Troy Wishik's character, a hero was sort of embarrassing because he was an asshole.
Mhm.
Right.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly.
But that's the thing. I think that's one of the problems I had with the second half is at least if they had continued with that idea of him kind of stumbling along and being this quirky guy who just happens to be killing bad people.
Right.
And continuing that in the second half.
In this disorganized manner.
In this really disorganized manner, I would have liked that a lot more.
Right.
But then the second half, which we'll get to later, just does a complete, not even 180, 360. Just like complete, I'm watching a completely different show, time jump type of stuff. And it's just like, I think that was what I liked about the first part is the fact you had this guy who was fumbling around and just getting lucky all the time.
Yeah.
I felt that was also sort of his power, was like, not only was he killing bad people, but he also seemed to be getting away with it really easily.
Right. Like all
Of
the
like
evidence would
somebody
just
was manipulating something,
Yeah,
whether that
yeah,
was
yeah.
God or something else. I don't know.
right. His evidence would just disappear. It would rain
Yeah,
when he
which
would
I
kill these
found that
people.
comical because it was like these crazy scenarios
Yeah.
of
Like
just
the evidence would get stolen and then the
yeah,
people that
or the
stole it would
fire
throw it off a
extinguisher
bridge.
guy or like
Mhm,
whatever.
mhm.
Yes.
Yeah,
It
yeah,
was very supernaturally convenient
right.
for him
Yes.
every
And
Yeah,
that was
time.
entertaining. That was
Yeah.
the fun
yeah.
part of the first half.
And I think
Right.
that almost plays into him then almost thinking that he should keep going because he's getting away with it like
Right.
constantly. And like he thinks, I think in his mind it kind of becomes, well, I'm getting away with it, and if I wasn't, then it might be a sign to stop. But he is just getting away with it, and it is by these like freaks of nature type situations, or just like things happening that wouldn't normally happen to allow him to get away with the situations. So yeah. What else? Where else do you want to? So that was, I think, yeah, I think the Spidey thing, I'm still not sure. Because all they would show is that he would just get like in the back of his neck, like his hairs would stand on end. And I think
You
that's
just
the
get
only
like
thing, wasn't
goosebumps
it?
on
Yeah, you
his
just get
neck.
goosebumps.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I think that was it. Um, so I was like, was this even relevant to the story at all? Like, I don't know. I don't know.
Yeah. When they introduced Robin,
Right. Yes.
Mm-hmm.
I'm making
Yeah.
faces over here.
Yeah.
Robin was the downfall of the show to me.
Okay.
I
Yeah,
thought his
yeah,
character
Okay.
and his complexes, which the profiler at the end of the show reminded me so much of the profiler from Psycho, like the Hitchcock movie Psycho, who comes in at the end of the movie Psycho and totally ruins the ending of Psycho by explaining exactly, for those who missed it, like what is wrong with the villain of Psycho.
Right. Yeah.
Like, he killed his mother, but then he couldn't handle that is what the profiler in this show does for Robin.
Does. Yeah.
And explains like, oh, he was stunted, his mental growth was stunted, and he couldn't distinguish between fantasy and reality, blah blah blah. And he had this like complex. Of fucking course he had all this stuff. Like I hate that spoon-fed stuff at the end.
Yeah. Yeah.
But to me, Robin, again, like they also try to make Robin a hero. Which is what he always wanted to be anyway.
Right.
And I started making jokes in my own head when everything worked out perfectly for Itang because Robin took the blame for everything. I was like,
yeah, he literally just took it all, didn't he?
I started doing the monologue from The Dark Knight. He's not the hero we need right now. Blah blah blah. Do you know the monologue or whatever?
Yeah.
Oh my god. He's a Dark Knight.
And the thing
I'm gonna pull it up because now I want to see.
Go.
But you guys can keep talking while I look up the Dark Knight monologue.
While you're pulling that up, I will just say though, like for Robin, he just like they made him this. So she says, oh, his growth was stunted, but he was a mastermind in essence, because what the story tells you is that he planned all of this, even down to having his teeth that changed,
right?
So that like the apple would be like that's not even possible. I don't think. Like, can you have your teeth changed?
Oh yeah.
Is that
possible?
possible?
Oh yeah, you can.
Really?
Yeah. Oh yeah.
God.
Oh,
I did not know that. I did not know that.
I mean,
well, that would make sense.
Yeah. It would take a lot of planning and a lot of thinking, and you'd have to get rid of a lot of records. But
he's supposed to be like a genius, right?
Yeah.
Okay, here's the Batman monologue. Okay, so here's the very end of the Gordon monologue at the end of The Dark Knight. He's the hero Gotham deserves, but not the one it needs right now. So we'll hunt him because he could take it, because he's not our hero. He's a silent guardian, a watchful protector, a dark knight.
See, that's yeah.
If
That's the
if
the
they
vibe.
had done something like that, or if Etang had given some sort of monologue voiceover over top of some
Mhm.
montage explaining
Mhm.
what Robin did to set things right, I think
That would have
Robin
worked
would have gone to
better.
heaven. Yeah, Robin the
Yeah,
character would have been so jazzed. Oh my god,
exactly.
because he
I-
thought he was a hero.
Yeah. Yeah.
I think yeah, that would have worked better for his character, and I think it would have worked better for the show itself.
Oh
But
god,
I don't even know. Like, so I have a question
glorifying mental
because
illness.
yes,
Right.
glorifying mental illness sounds about right. So who do you think
Oh lord.
is the actual, because like this is a show about bad people in general. Everybody is corrupt. The people who are supposed to be good are corrupt. The people who are bad are corrupt. Like everybody is corrupt, right?
Mhm.
So who do you think, if you had to pinpoint it, who do you think is the true villain of the story?
The dog.
Mm.
Because so the dog ate the owner
Jack, not the dog.
and got away with it. Like the dog was supposed to be put down after having this visceral reaction and almost tearing this lady to pieces during one of those like tests to see if he was aggressive. And he was, because he had this like trauma reaction and went for that lady. Supposed to be put down, gets saved at the last minute by Nankam, which is Sun Soku's character, and goes on living a happy life as a dog. That's a villain right there, because he got away with eating his owner.
Not this show making a golden retriever. Oh no, a Labrador. Labrador.
It was
It
a
looked like a
lab,
Labrador.
yeah.
And not this show making a Labrador a bad dog.
Who was the villain? Possibly. I don't know. I think. I don't know.
I don't know. 'Cause to me, it's
Robin's
just like,
pretty crazy.
yeah, he
Yeah.
is. He is definitely. Robin is pretty crazy.
I
But
think they
Etang,
all
I
are
mean,
villains, though.
who did you say?
I think all of them were
They're
That's
all
what I was gonna say. Yeah.
for their
Ultimately,
own reasons
yeah.
and
Yeah.
their own motivations. I think all of them were villains
yeah, yeah.
because they were all. I mean, in
I
my mind, they were all selfish.
Mm-hmm.
They weren't doing this
Out of the goodness of their heart.
out of the goodness of their heart or to save people or anything. They were all selfish, including Robin.
Mm-hmm.
yeah,
Mm-hmm.
Like
yeah.
nobody was a good person in this drama.
My favorite part was when Etang looked at himself in the mirror and got the Spidey sense.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, yeah,
And I
yeah.
was like,
That was
yeah,
really
that
good.
tracks.
Yeah.
I will say though, I
Yeah.
will say that scene was really good. Because again, it's just like Cho Woo-shik acting his heart, acting. So,
Right.
I will say that is the thing, and we've mentioned it a couple of times, but I think that's probably the one very, very good thing about this drama is the acting itself.
Mhm.
And, it says something to the actors that they can be handed something like this and still perform well. I think it speaks to the caliber of acting that they have because other lesser actors would have probably like crumbled a little bit and would have made the show even more like
Oh,
unbearable.
really, really random, just because we're talking about the actors. I also found this out on Twitter. So it might be true, it might be not. But
Oh.
you know the kid who plays Sun Soo Kyu's younger self?
Yes.
Yes.
That's AI.
What do you mean?
What?
They took
What do you
his
mean?
face and stuck it on a younger person. Like that's not an actor they found. They like
What?
use Sung Soo Kyu's face to make the child actor, to make the son, the teenage person. Because everybody
Now,
was like praising this actor. Like everybody at the start when this aired, I remember seeing something of like, oh my God, they found this actor looked exactly like Sung Soo Kyu. Like he's like looks so much like him. Like, how did they find this actor? You find out later they used AI. It's not a real person.
I mean, Jess is speechless. Jess's face is like
Because
not computing, not computing.
you can't
Again,
do that. Like
Again,
that's
I can't like 100%.
not even de-aging technology. We're
I mean, that's
using
what I saw this on the
photos
internet.
of Son Seok-woo when he was that age to create like some sort of, you know, mask of him in CGI that he could motion cap it. You know what I'm saying? It's not mocap,
Yeah.
it's AI.
That's what
That
I
is
saw. That's what I
wild.
saw.
That is wild.
Bro, fuck out of here.
Absolutely.
Like that's wild. That's not
That
right.
that is absolutely wild. I can't I can't even compute
I would
that
never
properly.
agree to that. I would never agree to that if that was someone
Killer
so cool.
Paradox director reveals using CG and
Okay.
AI for Sung Soo Kyu's younger version.
Oh my Lanta.
He
Jeez.
revealed making a deep fake technology
Oh no.
to use to do the younger version. That's what he admitted.
Really?
Mm-hmm.
Bloody hell. That's
I
yeah.
would never agree
Mm,
to that if I was
mm.
someone so cool.
To have
Oh
that
my gosh.
jeez. Yeah, that's I'm not sure how to feel about
That
that.
is such a slippery slope.
According to the article I'm reading, he was like, he further noted that the past scenes didn't involve the younger version speaking any lines, which is why they used CG.
So they were like, we don't need an
and
actor.
AI.
They're
Yeah.
not even speaking.
He
Yeah.
revealed it took a lot of work to
That's
collect
so
data, including past photos
Oh, you
of Sun
see?
Soo Kyu to closely resemble the younger version. And
Oh
basically,
my
he said
god.
it's because of the money. It was a lot cheaper.
Oh yeah.
It was cheaper to do all that than to
I
just
don't
hire a day
Apparently.
guy, like
yeah.
a kid, to do this for a
Yeah.
day.
I mean, that's maybe I read that wrong. Hold on.
I don't
Oh yeah,
understand how
no,
that would be
no, it
cheaper.
didn't cost. It wasn't cheaper, but he wanted to do it anyway.
Oh
See,
my
see,
god.
that's ridiculous. Like
I'm offended.
just
Yeah.
I'm
grab an
offended.
actor.
Oh my
Like
gosh.
Yeah.
that's that
Yeah.
yeah,
So I
don't
saw
know.
this
Yeah.
online. So this aired on like what did you say? It was like February 9th.
Yeah.
Yeah. I'm just gonna double
He came
check
out with it, and so
myself.
like
Yeah.
on February 9th and February 10th or whatever, you saw all these people like saying like, oh my god, this younger version of Sung Soo Kyu looks so similar to him. Like, how did they find him? Whatever. It took him a week. A week later, the director came out and was like, well, it's actually not a real person.
Bloody hell.
You
I
let
bet
that
it's 'cause
pot
people
simmer.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I bet it's because people wanted to like figure out who the actor
Right.
was, and obviously
Yeah.
they couldn't because it's not a
I think
real
that's ethically wrong.
person. Yeah,
Yeah.
I think so. I think that should have been disclosed way sooner. Way sooner, because that just doesn't feel right.
No,
Nope.
That just
not at
does
all.
not feel right at all. Oh, great. So
Even the director's a villain.
Right.
Jesus Christ, yeah, even the director. So I don't know. Should we
Oh
talk about
my
the
God.
second? I think it's going to take us a little bit to compute this now.
I'm so mad. Like, it's one of those like blind rages where I have like no words. I'm just like,
I just don't
Right.
understand what why like I don't understand.
You're
The
telling me
fact that
they have
he
no
says
Dakota Fannings over there. They could have like pulled up for a day.
Right.
and done a job.
Right.
Because it's like it's not really a long scene at all, is it? It's a
No.
fairly short scene. They could have pulled up. I mean, this is how young actors get discovered, for
Right.
crying out loud.
By playing younger versions of
Don't
like
take
famous
that away
actors.
from them. Like,
Right.
why would you want to go poking the bear and start going down this slippery road?
Yeah.
Especially admitting, oh, it's not cheaper, but I wanted to do it anyways.
Well, and then
That
also you're like seeing these articles come out of Korea of like how hard it is to get like casting these dramas nowadays because it's getting
Exactly.
so expensive, and there's people who you would normally be able to get on a drama at a reasonable price, and now they're not. And it's like, you do this? Like, why?
That's
Why?
literally
Like,
why they were
cast-
striking.
Yeah, you cast an unknown child actor who's probably a lot cheaper than a known child actor who you've seen. Like, it just did not make sense when I read that. It was just like, why? Why would you do this? Why?
Oh my God.
Voluntarily, he did this.
I guess. Yeah.
Yeah.
He didn't even say like, "Oh, Netflix wanted me to, you know."
Yeah, nope. He was
try
like,
this.
I wanted to try it. It was very expensive, but I wanted to try it. I guess.
Like-
He was so
Playing
preoccupied with whether or not they could, they didn't stop to think if they should.
Yeah.
And the thing is, this is a Netflix show. I'm sure they're not short on money. So that, he probably wanted to
Right.
take the advantage of that. And
It's not like they're paying people residuals anyway in Korea.
Right.
exactly. So
Like it did something to me. Like, I'm very upset. I'm self-soothing over here. Okay, let's talk about this second half. So we have the introduction of Robin, and we have the introduction of the second serial killer who was working with Robin initially because Robin, like an idiot, thought that Song Ton, which was the first serial killer that he was working with, was noble and righteous and was only killing people because he had some sort of superpower and could tell who deserved to die.
Well, and this is why I asked, do you think Cho Woo-sik had a superpower? Because like half of me, especially during the second half of me was like, maybe it's all in Robin's head. Maybe he didn't have a superpower and Robin just thought he did because he got lucky or whatever.
See,
and this is a whole thing of Robin.
Yeah. Because
I think that
it wasn't obvious.
I think he did have a superpower. Well, I don't know if I would call it a superpower. I think he was messed up.
Right. Right.
He was messed up supernaturally.
Right.
Yeah.
And could tell like who had something off about them and who was a murderer. And because of some weird way that he was living his life, it just seemed to work out. And that's what he was saying, what Itang was saying before, is that like it seems like he's always been weirdly lucky his whole life because he was at first he cheated on his long-term girlfriend in college and he never got caught.
Yeah.
Like he lost his ring and everything and like he never got caught.
Right.
So even when he's doing really questionable things, he's not getting, there's no consequences for him.
Yeah, exactly. Right. Exactly. And that remains true right till the end of the drama. Like he never actually gets any consequences. And I think that, I don't know, for me, whenever I think I thought going into this that I would get, what you guys were saying, like an anti-hero, like a dark sort of hero, but not necessarily hero type. But that's not the case because he is at his core kind of a despicable person.
Yeah.
Right.
He really
he's not
is
likable.
a despicable person.
I just don't think anybody's likable.
So this,
but
with how crazy, okay. Hear me out.
Go for it.
So you know the Korean drama Mouse.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, I've not seen it, but I know of it.
Okay. It's a crazy, you do not understand half the time what's going on. I was in it for the ride.
Like, I bet.
It was whatever. I wanted that cat and mouse. Like there was a really good cat and mouse, and I'm not like the guy who stars in it is like escaping my mind right now. But like he kind of is the same way in terms of Iwushi came out and at the very beginning just like he was a dick. Like not like so you have I think oh my god, I'm gonna have to look him up. So you have the lead character in this, and he's a dick. And
Yes.
he like is not a good person. Opposite of that, you have the lead character in Mouse, and he's actually a pretty good person.
Oh,
And then
okay.
he kind of just becomes what he becomes in Mouse. And
You're
it's
trying not to
like,
spoil it for us.
yeah, pretty much.
Yeah.
And ironically, Hee Jun is the cop in Mouse.
Oh.
But it's like a huge like thing. It's kind
Are
of
you
like
serious?
yeah, he's the cop.
The
in
second
Mouse.
serial killer in this show is the cop in Mouse.
Yeah. Yeah.
All right.
And like I thought Mouse is definitely better than this show, even though it's a crazy ride and you don't understand what's going on, and it went on way too long. It's 20 episodes. Like it was a
dang.
lot.
Oh, Luminac.
But like it was I would have preferred I mean, and I'm not the biggest fan of Mouse either, but I would take Mouse over Killer Paradox any day of the week.
I love that. I love that. It's the lesser of two evils.
Yeah, it's like, and that's the thing. I wanted a good cat and mouse story where
Right.
you had Choi Woo-shik and Seok Kyu going at it.
Yeah, I wanted like a
And
Catch Me If You Can.
And for the first 4 episodes, that I thought we were gonna get that. They did that very well.
It was
and
leaning
then it
in that direction.
completely took
whoop left turn.
a left turn and kept going, and just became. I honestly thought it became the Sun Soo Koo show.
It
like,
did.
Choi Woo-shik like just was like out the window, and I'm like,
yeah,
why?
Mm-hmm.
Why? Like it did not make sense at all. Why they would take that turn, especially when the first 4 episodes was so centered on Itong and his story, and like I get you wanted the background of the cop because he was an interesting like character and you wanted to know why he became a cop and whatever, but like why did the entire story pivot to him? And then it made no sense at all on bringing this second killer in.
Was that the paradox? Is that like now you had the paradox was that Robin created a monster?
To me, though,
by making him think he was a hero.
Yeah.
I guess
to me,
in a way.
To me, that second killer wasn't necessary to the story. Though.
Exactly.
They literally even asked him, "Why did you come back out of hiding?
Yeah.
Just to be like, why are you here? Because you were gone. You had no reason to show your face again.
Right.
You were living your life."
And I think it comes back actually to what you've just said, Jess, about how Robin made Song Chun think that he was some kind of hero. And I guess he would have been enticed to come back and see that he had been replaced by somebody, and that would have messed with him. But I still don't think there was a necessity for him to come back, because what I really wanted to see was Itang and Nangam like going head to head in this chase. Like that's what I was so interested for, because you have these two great actors and you could have pulled some really great scenes out of them going head to head, trying to outsmart each other. But it isn't, because ultimately the mastermind that's going head to head with the police form is Robin. Like Itang is just riding on Robin's coattails and getting away with it. Like,
but then Nangam is such not a likable character.
No, yeah, he's
like
not
you
a likable
wanted you wanted him to be this like righteous cop that would hunt down this guy who essentially just went crazy and just got lucky killing these killers. And he's not a righteous cop. He's not a good
No.
guy at all. He's
No.
not likable, which also kind of rubbed
That's
me.
what I
mean,
said. I'm like, literally nobody's likable.
yeah, and
Yeah.
like I'm not saying I'm not saying when you have a cat and mouse story, you need a cop that's righteous. I'm not saying that. Like
You can have a
fully
gray
know,
area,
yeah, you can have a very
morally
good
gray.
cop, but like the fact he also just is not likable. Like he's morally gray, but he's also just a dick. Like
Mm.
he's not likable. So like as an audience, you can't really root for him because in his own way, he's also going crazy.
Yeah.
As we
Yeah.
saw in the second half, he kind of went crazy, and Itong was the one that was kind of like, dude, you need to chill. Like, which
Yeah.
was like, why?
Weird. Why is the other serial killer telling the cop
Exactly.
to like back down?
Exactly.
The white whale thing, which they introduced in the first half, like that Son Soku had this case that was ongoing, that it was a cold case he couldn't solve, that it was a personal case to him, which should never have been on that
Right.
case to
Yeah.
begin with.
Yeah.
That he couldn't solve this killer that was on the loose. And that white whale case turned into the second serial killer that came back was Song Chon.
Right.
Mhm.
Could have done completely without it. Like, why even include that?
We don't need it.
Oh, and that's
Yeah,
the
we
thing.
don't
It's
need
like
it.
the first half had a really good story going. You could have continued that.
Yeah.
You could, and even that you could have brought the second guy back. Yes. And that would have been like two serial killers going at it because he sensed the guy was bad. Like, you didn't need the case. You didn't need his father in the hospital. You didn't need the personal connection. You could have made him like a righteous cop who was chasing one serial killer and then found out there were actually two and then had to maybe team up with Itong. Like, I feel like they brought in the second serial killer so they could do a season 2.
Yeah.
So they didn't have to catch Itong and they didn't have to complete his story. So they could do a season 2.
Because at the end, obviously Itang goes back and the ending leaves it open for a second season if they want to go back. Because Itang goes back and we have Son Suk-koo like watching the news and somebody else is dead and that person dies as soon as Itang comes back to the country. So it's like, I mean, you're leaving it open to a second season, but you've had not the greatest run with the first season. So I don't understand why, but even if they wanted to go down that route, we could have gone down that route without still catching Yi Tung. Like,
yeah.
Right.
You didn't need to catch him. You didn't
Yeah.
need to catch him to leave it open for a second season. That's
Right.
not.
Yeah.
And I feel like it's almost because they wanted some sort of, I don't know, glory for them catching somebody and like tidying everything up almost. But nothing is tidied up. Everything's very messy and up in the air. So I don't understand the need for that. I don't understand how they let it get so messy in the second half because there's like 300 threads and they're not catching all of them. Like,
I hated the fact that Son Soku was painted as like this bad son.
Yeah.
What the hell was that about? Like, him in the first half, him visiting the hospital and the mom being a bitch to him, super tonally off from the rest of the show. And then they go into in the second half why he became a cop and how he was abused by his father, who was an asshole.
Yeah, his father wasn't a good person either.
No.
Like, wrong. And I have this crazy quote from Sun Tzu, and I'm paraphrasing here, but he said, like, if you want to take away someone's power over you, don't give them the reaction they're seeking, because his father was literally just abusing him to get a rise out of him. And so finally he was like, I'm not going to take your shit anymore, and stop reacting to his dad, but then still became a cop, the same profession as his father. And the serial killer, the second serial killer, Song Chon, was like a subordinate. The dad was
Yeah, yeah,
pushing
yeah.
meth. Like it was like this
And the
whole
thing
crazy
is,
thing.
and the thing is, the dad was really bad, but yet he obviously dies and he gets like this hero's send off.
Oh
And
my
I'm
god,
Right.
like,
yes.
well, are you just saying that even if you're that bad, you can get away with it? I mean, if cops can get away with it, then of course people like Lee Tang, also gonna get away with it. Like,
It was really strange. And I said that before in the non-spoiler section where I was like, this was just strange because the dad suddenly got a bunch of backstory. Son Soku's character's dad,
mhm,
bunch of
mhm.
backstory that he's a dirty cop, corrupt cop. He was pushing meth in China or something, and uh
Used the
was
lunch lady
we
and
used the
she got
lunch
caught.
lady
Yeah.
to as a
And the lunch lady
mule.
got arrested.
The
Yeah.
lunch lady got arrested in China, and uh he was like pushing down the career of the second serial killer Sung Chun because Sung Chun's father was also a killer. It was like, where is the
Yeah.
paradox? This is just
Mm.
But also my question too is like, how did Sunchon go from that person,
which was a very personal,
which
emotional
was
kill.
yeah,
Mhm.
to what he was in the present day? Like
Yeah,
that was
yeah,
also
yeah.
another thing that didn't really like make sense because at the time when Robin got to him, he
Mm,
was basically like homeless. He like was like
right.
on the street just killing whoever he wanted to kill. And I'm just like, that entire backstory wasn't explained. Like, how did he go from that cop being so good and so righteous and like getting mad because this
Mhm.
corrupt father
It
had
was
the
a
lunch lady? Like, it
it
made
was a
no
crime of
sense.
passion.
Exactly. It was a crime of passion.
How is he going from that
Yeah.
to he's making all of his victims write sorry notes?
Right.
I was almost thinking like that by them trying to show us these sad backstories in a sense that they almost wanted us to feel sorry for these people, but none of these
I don't
people
feel
were
sorry for
likable.
anybody.
Yeah.
I didn't feel sorry for any of them at all.
Nobody.
Like, and that to me is like I adore great characters. I think they are infinitely way more interesting than goody two shoe characters. But you have to make it sense. There's got to be something there that is like making you still enjoy the character, even though you can
Right.
see that they're great characters. Does that make
Yeah.
sense? And
Mm.
Or make
but
it
these,
believable on
yeah,
like where they came from to what they are now.
yeah,
Because
yeah.
even like writing the sorry notes, that sort of made sense because he never got an apology or a sorry from Sun Soo Kyu's dad. But it still
Mm-hmm.
doesn't explain, like, he was crazy.
He
He
was
was nuts.
batshit.
He was
They
batshit
all
crazy.
were.
And like there was no explanation on how he became that crazy. Like he didn't like if he just snapped, if he just went crazy after that kill.
It was just a
Okay,
series of snaps.
show it. Like it's like you all like they didn't even show him snapping. They kind of just were like, "Okay, I killed the father." And then time jumped to a crazy serial killer.
Everything
Like
was like a
it just
mild inconvenience, and he would just go off and kill
exactly.
that person
Yeah,
and
it
make
just
them write a
it
sorry note
didn't
in their own blood.
yeah, it didn't make sense on how drastic of a direction that serial killer went. Like, and I think almost I kind of didn't want to know his backstory because I
No, it
liked
didn't
him.
matter.
I liked it didn't matter, but at the same time, like him being the crazy serial killer with the notes and everything, that was intriguing.
Mm.
That was interesting. Once I found out the backstory, especially with how personal the Sun Soo Kyu's character, I was like, really? Like, really? You
The
couldn't just
really
make
to
him
me was
crazy?
that serial killer Song Chun was his father was a serial killer or
Yeah.
just a murderer as well.
Yeah. Which angered me too.
I was like, okay, so now we're putting forth the idea that
genetics. Yeah.
genetics, like if your father's a murderer or parent is a murderer, you're also going to be a murderer.
Right.
Yeah.
Come off
That
it. Like,
speaks to Sun Soo Kyu too, is like his father was a corrupt cop. He becomes a corrupt cop.
right, right.
Like, it's like, are we talking It's just the backstory did not make sense with this at all.
It's basically
That's not a
like,
paradox. That's a direct.
Yeah.
That's a straight line.
Yeah. It's basically almost saying, I don't think it's almost, it's saying that you can't escape where you come from, basically. So, like, with those connections, so Song Chun's dad was a killer, so he becomes a killer. Like, Son Suk-ku's father was corrupt, so he becomes corrupt. It's like, it's
But it's
almost saying
also
you have no choice in it.
But it's also that Son Suk-ku's dad like badgered Song Chon and what's the word? Not perverted, like he pushed him to become a killer. And just like Song Chon did to Son Suk-ku's character, if that makes any sense. Like it's a cycle that's happening. Like the dad did it to Song Chon, the killer did it to Nangam.
Yeah.
And I don't know if that counts as a paradox, as just a pattern.
I feel like that's
I
just a pattern.
I think the paradox would have made more sense if they stuck with what they were setting up in the first 4 episodes with Choi Woon-sik's character being a like
he's falling ass backward into like getting away with murder.
Yeah, like it's like you on one hand you have a bumbling normal guy.
He's a bum.
Who's like
literally a bum.
But then he becomes a killer, but like people can't catch him because in real life he's a bum. Like that's the paradox. Like that was the paradox in the first 4 episodes. And then he like accepts the fact that he's a killer. And then that's not a paradox anymore.
No.
Like he becomes a killer. Like that's not
accepts this new purpose.
Exactly.
Because whereas he had no purpose before, he was able to achieve something.
Exactly.
Yeah. And the fact that he gets a glow up after he becomes a killer.
Oh, let's talk about this glow up. I was waiting for this to come up. Oh, thank God. Okay. Listen.
I mean,
I am one of those people that love Choi Woo-sik. I'm always in his corner pretty much. That man needs hair on his forehead 100% of the time. 100% of the time. When they pulled his hair back and he was slicking it back and he had like the undercut, the buzz on the side of his head, I was like, they did him so dirty. They did him so dirty. He looked sickly. He looked so bad in the second half of the show. And I'm so glad that his final form in the final couple of minutes of the show, they reverted to like the scruffy hair, you know, hair over the forehead type deal that he was doing in the front half of the show when he was still a bum. That is his look. That is Choi Woo-sik at his best.
Isn't he still a bum by the end of the show?
That's what I mean.
That's an efficient killer, though.
And like
again, the paradox disappeared.
True.
I have a question for you guys because when he was in the Philippines, he wasn't killing anybody.
Well, he
was. I don't think he stopped killing.
They didn't show him doing anything. Or having any sort of spidey sense in the Philippines.
I don't think
so. I assumed that his spidey sense was only in Korea.
That's why I was like, do you really think he has a superpower? Like, that's what I'm saying. Yeah.
It only works on Koreans.
Right, exactly. I don't think he was killing anybody in the Philippines.
That's what I thought too, is that he to keep a low profile. He didn't want any more heat.
Either.
Yeah. So he just didn't kill anybody in the Philippines.
And if he did, I guess they didn't. I don't remember if he was killing anybody or not, honestly.
It looked like he was just keeping a low profile.
Ago. Yeah.
Well, and also, so to me, in the second half, it kind of becomes clear that he's becoming careless, you know, because obviously when he goes out to kill and whatnot, Robin is there in essence as her sidekick to kind of like clean up after him. And I wonder if when he moved to the Philippines, obviously he has no sidekick anymore because Robin's dead. So
He
was
never
he
needed Robin
just
though.
do you think he didn't? Like when he became a bit more
He
confident in
just would
himself?
it
Because
would have worked itself out. Like is
Mm,
what Robin was also saying. He was like, you never needed me because the universe just would have helped you out.
yeah, yeah.
And you can
See,
see that
because
in the final scene with his trade, like the fire starts in that warehouse.
Right.
yeah.
Like he didn't do nothing at all. Like the
Right.
evidence just like went up in flames. He walks out.
Yeah.
Like that's it. Like that's why they don't even catch him.
Okay.
Well, part of the reason
Okay.
why there's no evidence. And then Robin, the one thing that he had left behind was like teeth marks on some sort of
On the
fruit that he had
It was
eaten
an
On the
apple. An
apple.
and
apple.
an
Yeah.
apple.
The apple.
Literally, that's the only evidence that he's left in all these kills.
Right.
And Robin fixed that by changing his like teeth to match his dental mold.
Yeah.
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 And that fixed that piece of evidence. So it was like he just needed like little things here and there.
Yeah. I don't know, guys. I don't know. I don't even know what to think about this anymore because I'm just like, I finished it. And you know what's interesting as well? I finished it this morning and I'm sitting down now and like thinking about it. I've already forgotten a lot of the details. Like it's just poofed out of my mind. And I'm like, I think that speaks to the drama as a whole. That,
It's just so forgettable.
exactly. It is.
Yeah.
It is a forgettable
It's
drama.
no sticking to it. Like it just doesn't stick with you.
No.
Question. I hated also the whole sub investigation unit that came in for a spell and was like headed up by that pretty woman who was the profiler. Because Sun Soku has words with her saying their investigation was like performative.
Yeah.
Why even include this? Like it all came to nothing.
It was a time jump. It was the way that it was a way to
I
say
hated
like
it.
there was a time jump.
Hated it. It
Yeah.
made no sense to me.
Yeah.
Why even include this? Why even have this little spat with her? I think it might have been internal affairs or something.
No, I mean, no, it wasn't internal affairs.
Okay.
You see this a lot in other crime dramas is like when somebody can't be caught, they'll create this like special unit to go in. And US crime people do this. US crime shows do this too. And like in real life, they sometimes do it as well. But like you see it a lot in crime Korean dramas where it's like either the drama centers around the special unit who's made or they have a special unit come in and then usually they don't do anything. If they're coming in like the Killer Paradox, they usually don't do anything. It's the main characters that do something eventually. But it's just somebody who wanted to prove themselves and they made a new unit to catch something like someone higher up was like, these people aren't doing well, we'll bring in these people and they'll get something done. And then obviously they didn't do anything.
I don't know, guys. I
don't like how every female character was like stupid.
Yeah.
Oh yeah. They all ended up, most of them all ended up dead or were cheaters or were,
like the mom.
Weren't a lot of women characters in this.
There weren't a lot of women characters.
No,
and then Son Soku's mom was like this serial cheater, and Song Chun, the second serial killer, called her.
I also didn't like the fact that she
deviant was or something.
Like, why would she cheat with him? Like that connection wasn't needed. Like,
it was weird.
Like, the whole thing just was not needed.
It like stunk to high heaven. It was like, no.
This is what I mean. The second half feels like 300 threads that do not mesh into one cord. That's like the feel of it. It's like thread after thread that just is left floating in the air. That like, because there's no need for it, but it's just there. That's like what I feel about this as a whole. It's like a bunch of, it feels like, do you know what it feels? It feels like almost like 10 people is writing this at the same time.
Right.
and nobody wants to upset anybody, so every single idea gets used. Like that's what it
Yeah.
feels like almost. I know that's not the case, but that's what it feels like. Like you've got a bunch of writers, a bunch of ideas, and everything just gets used. So I don't
Yeah.
know. I
Yeah.
I don't know. I don't even
Sun
know.
Soku's mom, crazy bitch, cheater, the profiler, pretentious bitch, the mom for Etang as well. Like, I was confused about her because she was barely in it, but then at the end of all of a sudden, there's like a really deep connection between Etang and his mother, and he shovels the front entryway
Right.
for
her, and I'm like, oh, suddenly we're back, and he misses his parents, and he wants to do something nice for his mom.
Because he didn't even seem like a good son to begin with.
Didn't even, yeah, like he fucked off real easy before and didn't contact them.
Well, even his sister.
Yeah.
His sister, like, she wasn't really in it either, but like even she kind of had a pretentious vibe with her of like, and then all of a sudden you're gonna be like, oh my god, he's missing. It seems like you wouldn't have cared 2 episodes ago. Like none of you really cared.
Yeah. Let's talk about the fact that I thought Etang was gonna save his coworker at the supermarket.
Yeah.
And
what was
that
with
never
her?
No.
What was that?
Yeah, what was that?
I was just like, what the hell?
I thought he was gonna bust in and save her.
I think that was one of the things that one of my more the like it didn't, that's another thing. It did not need to make, like, that whole story thing did not need to be in it.
That was brutal.
It was like this. It was brutal.
It was a very realistic.
It was really realistic.
With the sex tape that she got, like it was honestly heartbreaking.
Yeah,
it was. It really, really was. It really was.
I thought her character would be more like,
they gave her a lot.
They gave her a lot, and then all of a sudden they gave her that ending. I was like, why? What was needed with that? Like,
right. What purpose did that serve?
Yeah, and I'm fully with you, Jess. I thought he would come in and save her.
Because he felt the bad vibes from that guy.
Exactly.
So I was like, okay, he's on his radar.
Yeah.
I didn't understand the need for that to be there, because again, it just feels like another thread that they left in the wind, because that story could have gone to so many different places. Like, he could have saved her. He could have, I don't know. That he could have, they could have definitely used that scene if they were gonna do it. They could have used it better, I think.
Again, I think that whole scenario was made for Sunjun, for his character,
to bring him in,
which was like, again, like, because we don't really agree he's supposed to be in this drama, that whole entire scenario didn't need to be there.
No, yeah, that's probably the case, because what was the point of having that scene there? And it was like a fair amount of screen time that this storyline got, because realistically, this is only 8 episodes. So out of 8 episodes, it got a fair screen time. But again, it feels like there's no need for it. So I don't know.
And also, they didn't go into that much depth with anybody else that he killed. Why go into that much depth and give that much background for the audience to somewhat be personally connected to that character, to just have it go the way it did?
See, because I was thinking maybe he was going to come in and save her, because all we've seen so far is him killing people. And the people that he's killed are people that have already killed other people, right?
Right.
So this would have been an interesting use if he had come in and kind of saved her from that fate. So it's like almost giving him another dimension, if that makes sense, or another character trait, because you are seeing him save someone as opposed to just killing someone for the sake of killing someone because they're bad.
Right.
Yeah,
So yeah.
It would have made him
Yes.
more of a hero to me.
exactly.
Exactly. I would have preferred them going down that route where
It could have
he's
been like he fell
actually
ass backward into saving her. Like I would have preferred
Exactly.
that too.
Exactly. Like I think that would have worked
Because he
so
was
much
delivering
better.
food
Mm-hmm.
like in his spare time. Like they could have ordered food. And then
Right.
he shows up at the door and like, he senses that he's about to kill her or something. And like then he
Yeah.
saves her or something. And it could have been something like ass backward. He falls into saving her.
Mm-hmm.
Right.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Right.
But they didn't do that. They let her die after this whole sextortion thing. I mean, it's horrendous.
Right.
It
Another
truly is.
case of men lying to you. That's all men do in the show.
Jesus
Just
Christ.
lie
All the
and
men
cheat.
are horrible. All the men are
Lie
absolutely
and cheat and
horrible
murder
in
you.
this.
Oh,
Ugh.
God.
I feel like I need to go and watch something nice after finishing this because I need a break. Because see, I don't mind crime thrillers. I don't watch very many of them, but I need it to keep me engaged, and I need at least somebody to root for. Like just
Mhm.
one. Just give me one person
Right.
to root for.
Yeah.
Because like if not, then what's the point of the show? I don't want to be watching something about crappy people and every single person is a crappy person. Like,
Right.
what's the point of that?
Yeah.
So ultimately, I think that's one of my biggest. I have quite a few gripes with this drama, but ultimately, it's the fact that I feel like characters, all of them, were very surface level. There was not any depth to any of these characters. And they were all horrible, unlikable characters. So,
And they try and bring you some sort of like dilemmas between Nangam and Robin at the end. Nangam is like, you're just trying to play God. You're just trying to play God once again. And Robin's like, that's what you're trying to do because you're going
yeah.
after Song Chun out of revenge because you want revenge for him killing your dad.
Right.
That's playing
Yeah.
God.
And
Yeah.
honestly, I also found that storyline lazy.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Because I mean, that's a
Yeah.
that's a trope. That's a trope when it comes to crime dramas. Is like the cop has a personal connection to the killer.
Yeah.
Which again, I think is like
I would have preferred he
why-
killed the mom.
Yeah, or
Mm.
continue with, as we said, continue with the cat and mouse game they set up in first 4
Oh,
because he
yeah.
was curious. He was like genuinely curious about Etong and about like,
Yes.
and I would have
Mhm.
liked to see his character. Like you could tell they were kind of maybe working it up of like he would become obsessed with him and kind of follow him around and kind of become deranged in that direction. I would have loved that. That would have been great.
Or maybe go after Etong's family because he knew everything about Etong.
Exactly.
He had his ID, everything.
Yeah. Yeah.
Ah,
One of my favorite scenes though in terms of acting was when in the second half when Sung Chun goes to like the politician's house and like
yes.
he has like those girls over or whatever and
Oh.
Sun Soo
Mhm,
Kyu
mhm, mhm,
goes
mhm.
in and like wants to kill him.
Uh-huh.
One of my favorite scenes in terms of acting.
Right.
Yeah.
Because Sun
Yeah.
Soo Kyu killed that scene. Killed it.
Yeah.
So well.
Yeah.
So good.
See, and that's what's even more frustrating is that these actors can pull punches,
Right.
and it's like to see them in an underwhelming drama feels infuriating to me. It feels like a crime against nature in general. I oh, I'm glad it's done.
It's done.
It's
We don't have to talk
finished.
about it anymore.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. I don't know. I have no thoughts, nothing else, unless you guys have things you want to mention.
My favorite kill from Etong, which sounds really morbid to say, but the
Oh,
one that I
yeah.
was like rooting for, that I was like, this person has to go. It was the girl with the dog.
Oh my God, I hated her.
I hated her. I hated her. I hated
really,
her.
really hated her. I really, really hated her. She was just another crazy person too. I feel like this show is just a collage of crazy people.
Crazy people.
Right.
Yep. Who can outdo the next
That's what,
person?
yeah, like which one is crazy enough to stay alive? I feel like that's what it is.
Yeah.
You know, who's
So
crazy enough to
speaking
stay
of
alive?
that woman, that girl, that scene where he does kill her, where he's like running
Oh
on all
yeah.
fours or whatever.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I saw like a behind the scenes of like
Oh.
them shooting that role.
Okay.
And they actually like
Mhm.
he actually wore like a leash. Like it was like she didn't do the pulling or
Oh,
anything, but the entire like where he's being pulled or whatever, he was being pulled by a leash. Like it was literally a thing.
oh my
And then
God.
him running on all fours, like they actually like he did actually do that. Like they have they
Oh,
have
bloody
the scene
hell.
of him
That's
actually
great.
running on all fours and
Oh
everything
my
like that.
god.
Yeah.
I love it.
Yeah. Yeah.
It did look like he
That's
was running on all fours. I didn't think he
Yeah.
was
No,
not running on all fours.
yeah, it was
Yeah,
like
yeah.
well, yeah, but there was some chatter of like, is this like people were confused by it. With like, did he actually do that? Like, is that like something he actually did, or was that like
Did they think it was
CGI or
beneath
whatever?
him to run on all fours?
I think it was just they
Was
were
that the concept?
confused by the scene and they like wanted to confirm if like he actually did the scene or they did some kind of manipulation and it wasn't actually him doing it.
Okay.
I don't know.
Okay.
That's what I saw and that's what I
For
saw.
some reason,
I don't
I
know.
have this notion about Troashik that he's just like, yeah, let's just do it.
Right.
Yeah, yeah, that's what I
Yeah.
think.
You know what
I
I'm
think he's very
saying?
committed. Yeah,
Like,
yeah. That's what I think as
this
well.
scene calls for me to have a dog leash on and for me to run on all fours. Just
Let's
bring
do
me the
it.
dog leash and let's do
Yeah.
it.
Right.
Like, that's
Yeah.
my idea of Troashik instead of him
Yeah,
trying to
yeah.
like get a double or some sort of back end way of dealing with this. If the
Right.
script calls for it, I just feel like it would happen, which is part of the reason why I'm so shocked there was like a full on naked woman on top of him in episode 1,
Right.
which literally never circle back on like any of that. And they never have any other masturbation scenes. It's just like shock and awe episode 1.
Yeah.
It's just to shock you. It's just to shock you right from the get-go. That's it. It's
Made no
clickbait.
sense. Yeah.
You know,
Yeah.
it's clickbait. I don't know, guys. I
It's
don't
so
know.
unnecessary to me. And I'm not a prude, okay? I feel like I'm not a prudish person. However, I am one of those people that's like, was it necessary to have this poor woman show up and strip down naked in front of a mostly male crew and gyrate on top of Troashik for what? Like, what was it? Didn't need to happen.
Right.
No.
Yeah.
No.
I think it's gratuitous. So
I feel like that's the theme of this show. Just a bunch of things that did not need to happen. Like, you know what I mean? Just a bunch of things that like were not necessary to the drama itself,
Right.
but yet found their way into the drama. That's what I feel like about this drama ultimately. That's like my ultimate thought is that a lot of things, a lot of scenes, and a lot of threads in this drama were unnecessary to the plot as a whole, but yet still made their way into the drama. So
Right.
I don't know.
how'd they mess it up? It was only 8 episodes. Ugh.
I know. It's wild to me that they mess up an 8-episode drama.
You can do it.
You can.
You can do it.
You can do it.
I don't have anything else in my non-existent notes, so
Yeah,
that's
neither
it for
do
me.
I'm done. I'm done. Caitlin, you done?
Yeah, I pretty much said what
All right.
I wanted to say.
I think that's it, guys. I
Yeah.
think that's it. It'll be interesting to see how long this episode is for us, because if it was a drama that we loved, I'm sure we would have been able to, rap on about it. But, I think that's it. I think we're going to wrap it up here.
For sure.
Thank you guys so much for coming on. And that is the end of the episode. I hope you guys have enjoyed this, I don't know, review. I don't
Maybe.
even know what to call it at this point. Our thoughts on this drama. And we shall see you next time. Bye.
Bye.
Bye.